Right now, a hazmat situation in Cottage Grove after a person releases a drum of chemicals in a field. Also, it's back to school season. We catch up with multiple events across the area, including one with free haircuts. Plus, we catch up with local filmmakers about creating films in the Badger State. That's all coming up on News 3 Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. We'll get to those stories in just a second. We're going to go ahead and get a look at your first one forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller. So Blaze, our mornings may be looking a little bit different over the next few days.
Might be a little bit on the cooler side. Yes, certainly, as temperatures are beginning to dip into those mid 40s around Mineral Point. Higher elevations tonight may creep into those upper 30s, but most of us will stay into the 40s as we go overnight into the start of the next work week. 60s and 50s still out there across southern Wisconsin. Into Dane County we go. It's 57 in Madison, McFarland, 58 Belleville, Verona, 56 in Perry. Still holding close to 60 Waunakee, as well as in Sauk City. To our north, way to our north, to really emphasize this little blast of cooler air and the northwesterly winds and the dryness. Frost advisories for northeastern Minnesota until 8 a.m. I don't think that winter is coming quite as early as what this could be trying to portray, but certainly we are going to sit underneath this very quick taste of fall through at least Tuesday of next week. 40s and 50s tonight, maybe a few of us getting into those upper 30s and some of the higher elevations because we are dry and we got those northwesterly winds and we are clear tonight. There is some rain in the forecast, but it's on the lighter side. We'll track it out in the full forecast.
All right, sounds good, Blaze. We'll see you in just a bit. And as always, you can track the forecast for yourself on the First Warn weather app. It is hourly planners, road conditions, and even radar. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC weather. Madison fire crews respond Sunday morning to a hazardous materials incident near a gas station in the Cottage Grove area. The fire departments say an unknown person in the 2700 block of County Highway N dumped a 55-gallon drum of chemicals onto the ground and left the scene. Agencies from Cottage Grove responded just after 9:30 a.m. Concerned by some of the placarding on the drum, they requested Madison Fire Department's HIT team for assistance at 10 a.m. MFD remained on the scene performing sampling on the contents of the drum. Currently, there are no threats to waterways or to any people in the area. UW-Madison braced for a busy weekend, welcoming nearly 9,000 students back to residence halls. Move-in began today and runs through Wednesday. Several streets will shift to one-way routes near residence halls beginning at 7 a.m. each day. On the east side of campus, Park Street will be northbound only from University to Langdon. Lake Street northbound only from Dayton to Johnson, and Dayton Street westbound only from Francis to Park. On the west side of campus, Observatory Drive will be westbound only from Charter to Babcock, and Elm Drive north of Observatory will be northbound only. Some parking lots near dorms will also be reserved for unloading zones. Drivers should expect delays throughout the next few days, and Metro Transit buses will also detour around the congestion. Officials encourage families, students, and visitors to consider biking, busing, and other alternatives to avoid traffic delays. And heading back to school is gearing up for many across the area, not just UW-Madison. The Verona Area Schools Black Student Union hosted a back-to-school block party this afternoon at Verona High School. The school's principal says events such as this one serve as a lesson for the community.
A life full of service is a life well lived, and as we do these types of endeavors with our community, with our student groups, really it's about coming together and creating a purpose above and beyond any one person. And so doing things like this makes me proud as a principal to have such amazing scholars in our building and such a dedicated staff like Ms. Sanchez, Ms. Foster.
The first day of school for the district is September 2nd. Barbers across the city of Madison came together to make sure students can feel confident on the first day of school. The 17th annual free back-to-school event took place at the Alliant Energy Center. Our Tanisha Shaw spoke with a mom that said this event is more than just a free haircut.
30 barbers are dedicating their Sunday to make sure 1,000 kids can feel confident on their first day of school. Shaya Harrison is a mom of 3 and said this event came just in time.
I suffered financial hardship, and I just want to say thank you for this program.
Last month, Harrison found out her oldest daughter had a brain injury. Around that same time, she was also let go from her job. Thankfully, Things turned around in a matter of weeks.
My daughter's doing well, and my testimony is that I did get I'm starting a new job.
Still, as a single mom, she's had a difficult summer. Hearing about this event hosted by JP Hair Design gave her one less thing to worry about.
I've had to do everything on my own, and I didn't want to see people would have made fun of my kid if he went ahead with an afro. He doesn't have his hair all nappy and everything.
JP is the founder of the Back to School event, and he says that is the exact reason why he plans this event with Barbers United for the past 17 years.
I care about my community. I want the people around me to do well. I want our community to do well. And this is a great event to help kids get ready for school, have them look good and feel good.
Confidence is a stain you can't wipe off, you know? So a barber shop, a haircut, it puts that confidence in you, and then you can go out and shine.
In addition to getting a free haircut, kids also had the opportunity to get free books and school supplies.
There's some school supplies that I can pick up that can save a little penny pension.
Reporting in Madison, Tanasia Shaw, News 3 Now.
Tanasia, thank you. Organizers say they will be back with another free haircut event next summer. Local filmmakers of Cut the Deck Productions are working on a project on Madison's east side. They're working on a proof-of-concept comedy that they will use to eventually help them secure funding for projects in the future. Their project, Park People, is being shot again on Madison's east side, and they hope that this work of art will lead to more projects shot not just in Madison, but across the state.
These grants and incentives are huge for not only the local community in Madison, but also the state in general, because Wisconsin is so beautiful. We have amazing city parks, we have amazing regional parks, great state parks, and all this stuff is really going to be able to have, people in state and out of state come in and film, the beautiful land, use the beautiful people.
They hope to secure funding for a feature-length version of Park People next year. Now, in case you missed it, WISC-TV and Television Wisconsin have completed a major upgrade to our over-the-air broadcasting system. Those watching us with an antenna who are experiencing problems getting our signal will need to rescan their TV. Now, I want you to open your TV's menu, select Settings, then choose Channel Scan, or for some it may say Auto Tune. We also have these instructions at channel3000.com/rescan. These improvements to our over-the-air signal will only be noticed by viewers who watch us over the air. If you watch WISC-TV and our programming on cable, satellite, or streaming, you will not need to make any changes whatsoever. Coming up next on News 3 Now at 10, Blaze returns with a complete look of your first one forecast. And beef prices are at an all-time high, what this could mean for your Labor Day celebrations. Plus, major U.S. cities push back on the chance of National Guard troops being sent to their cities.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Thank you for staying with us. Barbecues are a Labor Day tradition, and this year beef prices are at record highs. CBS's Lisa Rosner is in New York and reports on what's causing prices to soar.
The sizzle never stops inside New York City's Hamburger America. They can serve up to 1,500 burger patties a day. The restaurant has been smashing burgers for nearly 2 years. Customers can get a single with cheese or onions for $7.50. A point of pride for co-owner Andrew Schnipper.
The hamburger traditionally has been an item that is affordable. It's in every person's food item.
And he's hoping to keep it that way. But the problem begins in cattle country, where a multi-year drought shrank herds to their lowest numbers in more than 70 years.
There's just a lack of beef cows in this country.
Unlike chicken, cattle need years to grow and enough grass and feed to make that happen. And those cost more now, according to the American Farm Bureau. Imported beef is also getting more expensive. In May, the U.S. suspended live cattle imports from Mexico because of a parasite. Beef from Brazil now faces a 50% tariff from the Trump administration. At the supermarket, David Dawes says higher prices are steering him toward other protein sources.
I was looking for ground turkey because it is a few dollars cheaper.
Hamburger America's beef supplier stopped absorbing the increase and has raised its prices by 9%. This could force the restaurant to also raise prices.
I think the whole industry is kind of in a sort of wait-and-see mode at the moment.
Beef imports are expected to be 12% higher this year compared to last because higher prices are not deterring people from buying beef just yet. But analysts predict if high prices continue, demand will drop next year. Lisa Rosner, CBS News, New York.
More than 20,000 cans of 7-Up are being pulled from shelves. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration says the 7-Up is being recalled over labeling issues. The agency says cans labeled 0 sugar were found to mistakenly contain a full sugar product. The FDA says a Birmingham, Alabama-based bottler issued a recall for nearly 2,000 cases of 7-Up Zero Sugar Tropical. The notice says the soda was distributed in Alabama, Florida, and Georgia. The State Department has paused issuing work visas for foreign commercial truck drivers. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the increasing number of foreign drivers is, quote, endangering American lives and undercutting the livelihoods of American truckers. The Post did not give a further explanation for the decision. It comes after the Department of Transportation said it was investigating a truck driver accused of making an illegal U-turn that caused a deadly wreck in Florida. Federal authorities have said the truck driver entered the U.S. illegally. The American Trucking Associations expressed support for the State Department's visa pause, but it has previously acknowledged a driver shortage. Democrats push back against President Trump's plan to send National Guard troops to more cities, including Chicago, New York, and Baltimore. State and local leaders say they have crime under control. CBS's Willie James Inman is at the White House with the latest.
On Sunday, President Trump and Maryland Governor Wes Moore engaged in a war of words over the issue of crime. Trump posting on social media, quote, "If Wes Moore needs help, I will send in the troops," which is being done in nearby D.C., and quickly clean up the crime. Moore pushed back in an interview on Face the Nation.
It is so frustrating when we're hearing from the President of the United States something that is just purely performative, without actually focusing on these communities and these neighborhoods who believe that progress is possible.
The public lashing follows the Maryland governor's criticism of the National Guard troop deployment in the nation's capital and an invitation he sent Trump to visit Baltimore, where officials say violent crime is down. Trump has blasted Baltimore and other Democratic-run cities as crime-ridden and threatened to send in the military.
So I think Chicago will be our next, and then we'll help with New York.
This weekend, the Washington Post reported the Pentagon is drawing up plans for a possible military deployment in Chicago. Governor J.B. Pritzker says the president is trying to manufacture a crisis, and Illinois did not ask for federal help. Chicago's mayor says violent crime is down in his city.
The president does not have the constitutional or legal authority to federalize the National Guard here in Illinois.
Now, Trump has a lot more power over Washington, D.C., but presidents can federalize state National Guards in an emergency, like Trump did in June in Los Angeles. Willie James Inman, CBS News, the White House.
Now let's go ahead and get a look at your first one forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze, what should we expect?
A quiet end to the weekend and start and really first half of next week. Monday is going to be very similar to today, maybe a little bit more sunshine. We're still going to keep those breezy northwesterly winds, sometimes gusting upwards of 20 miles per hour. Going to keep us on the fall-like side for Monday and possibly into Monday night. We start to warm up slowly by Tuesday, and by Thursday, starting maybe even as early as Wednesday night, we see our next chance for rain. This is going to be a cold front with a system coming out of Canada. Now, most of our systems come out of the south, or at least they travel over areas with a lot of water. If this is coming out of Canada, there's not a lot of water for this system to really gather as it moves its way closer to us. So that rain chance Wednesday night and Thursday is going to be minimal. And if we do see rain, the rain totals are also going to be minimal as well. If we were looking for another heavy rain event, we want that system coming out of this area, Oklahoma, Kansas, Texas. Instead, as I mentioned, this system is coming out of Canada. The cold front will make its way through parts of Wisconsin and further the Midwest overnight Wednesday into Thursday through at least the late morning hours. And then as we go further into Friday morning, yet another high pressure system moves on in. So it's going to quickly push out any little bit of moisture that would be overhead. So we're looking at 1/4 inch of rain at best out of that. And that's our real only rain chance next week. Other than that, we're going to continue to sit underneath the influence of a high pressure system. And then that second one Thursday into Friday through most of Labor Day weekend. That's going to reinforce these cooler temperatures. We're still sitting at a 50 to 60% chance of being cooler than average from August 30th through September 3rd. So when we see the 10-day, that's going to be the second half of our 10-day. And we don't really see any big warm-ups in the future. As that second high pressure system comes in for the second half of this week, it is going to reinforce this kind of cooler and more comfortable air mass. So temperatures will gradually start to warm, but tomorrow will be in those mid to upper 60s. Again, breezy, mostly clear to clear conditions. So plenty of sunshine. It's going to be very fall-like. We're not expecting a whole lot of smoke with this high pressure system to start off next week, or that second one starting Thursday. So our air quality is expected to be good. Maybe a little bit of haze, but not enough that it's going to really impact anybody. What may impact folks, unfortunately, is the pollen, especially weed pollen. That is going to be high Monday through at least Thursday. Rain, while we don't necessarily need it right now, takes a lot of that pollen and pollutants and washes it out of the atmosphere. So unfortunately, allergy sufferers, while it is nice outside, it's not going to be very pleasant if you suffer from allergies, especially weed allergies over the next couple of days. That rain chance Thursday likely can be minimal, but we'll still keep it in the forecast at about 20%. That second high pressure system does sit overhead through Saturday and Sunday of your Labor Day weekend. Starting Labor Day into that following Tuesday, we start to get some southerly winds back into the forecast that may bring back just a little bit more rain chances to end Labor Day and then go into that following Tuesday. But again, full transparency, the further we go out into a forecast, the less accurate it is going to be. I don't think that that's a surprise to anybody. Right. So that will likely change. But, you know, in the immediate future, planning for the next work week, Thursday's our only rain chance, and it doesn't look too impressive.
All right, definitely looking forward to just some cooler temps. I mean, I feel like this summer in particular, outside of the rain, it's just been humid. It's pretty toasty. Yeah, it's been hot and humid. So I think we've earned it. We've had a couple of rough weekends over the last month or so, to say the least, not to minimize what has happened. So let's just enjoy the quiet, let the sun do its job and evaporate a lot of that rain, and then we'll just enjoy the quiet conditions for as long as we can. All right, well, sounds good. Thank you, Blaze. Coming up in sports, the Brewers are celebrating Bob Uecker. Let's see if they can get it done against the Giants next in sports.
They've been brushing up on your geography. Durbin's hammered that.
It would be an uphill argument to say someone is more synonymous with the Brewers than the late, great Bob Uecker. The voice of the Brewers had a half-century broadcasting career and passed away earlier this year, leaving behind a legacy that'll echo through the franchise for generations. Lance Allen caught up with another broadcasting great on what Uecker meant to not only Milwaukee, but to the sports world.
I'll root for the Brewers.
From Bob to Bob.
We were very friendly, very close.
Bob Costas couldn't be more honored to be the master of ceremonies for the Uecker Celebration of Life ceremony before Sunday's Brewers game at American Family Field.
Well, Milwaukee obviously meant everything to him because he could have left. He was a big national star. He could have left, and he stayed. Wisconsin was where he was born and raised. It's where his career began as a player with the Milwaukee Braves. And it's where his more than half-century career as a Hall of Fame baseball announcer played out. What he meant to Milwaukee, I think it's fair to say this. Even Hall of Famers like Robin Yount and Paul Molitor or Ted Simmons would say that Uecker was the biggest star on the team.
Costas and Uecker spent time in the NBC booth calling games together. Yet this Bob loves a story even before his time with the legendary Howard Cosell.
And Uecker is listening to Howard suggest some kind of strategy that made no baseball sense. And Uecker tries to gently, if not correct him, then differ with him. And Cosell persists. And Uecker differs with him again. And then Cosell says, You're awfully truculent tonight. You do know what truculent means, don't you? And without missing a beat, Uke says, of course I do, Howard. If you had a truck and I borrowed it, then that would be a truck you lent. Very, very rarely was Howard Cosell ever flabbergasted. That was one instance when he was. He had no comeback.
I don't mind being soaked, but I got to drink some too. You know, that's the bottom line.
Uke was one of the funniest people they have ever been around, and that he had the timing and delivery of a professional comedian.
Which means there was no one like Mr. Baseball.
You've been around a lot of famous people. How one of a kind was he?
Completely one of a kind. One of a kind and the word unique, they're thrown around carelessly. They don't always apply. But Uke was a great broadcaster, yes, and a great public personality in terms of being an entertainer. Think of the Major League movies. It's impossible to get to everything about the rich life he had.
And the celebration for Uke and his life would continue into the afternoon as the crew took on the San Francisco Giants. Bottom of the third, Christian Yelich at the plate, and he would get a shot through to bring a runner home. Brewers tied up at 2 apiece. And in the fifth, Caleb Durbin at the plate, and he would really get things going, and he would go yard, taking a 1-1 lead. Brewers go up 3-2, but unfortunately that wouldn't be enough. Bottom of the ninth, the Giants would play spoiler. They'd be able to get 2 runs through, and that's all she wrote. The Brewers come up short. 4-3 is the final. And we're just less than a week away from the Badgers kicking off their 2025 season at home against Miami of Ohio. And Eric Franke, along with Andrew Banstra, will get you ready for it. We're hosting Wisconsin Game Day live from the UW Fieldhouse at 6:30 this upcoming Thursday, getting you ready for game day and, of course, breaking down all the X's and O's. That's it for sports. A final check of your forecast is coming up when we return. All right, Blaze, we were talking earlier. Am I going to need to break out the jacket when I get up for work in the morning, or what should I expect?
Probably. Just a light jacket.
Okay.
We don't need the winter jacket. Somebody asked me again, is this fall? Are we in fall yet? No, I don't think we are. I think we're just easing into it. Certainly tomorrow, though, we're waking up in the 40s. We'll eventually get into the 50s by the late morning, and then 60s, mid-60s by the afternoon. Breezy northwesterly winds, though, throughout the day, so keep that in mind. 70s for everybody starting Tuesday. Some maybe sprinkles Wednesday night into Thursday before we quiet down to start off your Labor Day weekend.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Blaze. Seinfeld is up next. News 3 Now this morning starts at 4:30.